Hello everyone, welcome back to another lecture on the design of springs. Uh, okay, this is what the contains which we are going to deal in the today's lecture. We'll see the nomenclature of the springs and we will see the stresses in the helical spring. Okay, now what exactly nomenclature means? It means if you take a one spring, there are some terms which are related to spring which will define some of the parameters of the spring. Okay, so we'll start with the first. C is nothing but the spring index. Okay, spring index is defined as, that is, C equal to diameter of the coil to the diameter of the wire. Okay, this is what the spring index means. Next, small d denotes the diameter of the wire. Capital D denotes the spring diameter. This is the, sorry, this is the diameter of the coil. DI indicates the inside diameter of the wire. E indicates the Young's modulus. F is the axial force. G is the modulus of rigidity. L naught. This L naught indicates the free length. What do you mean by free length? The length of the spring in the uncompressed form is called as the spring. Next one, LS, that indicates the solid length. That means when this is the length of the spring in the compressed form. NT indicates the total number of the coils. Okay, this is one coil, two coil, three coils. Okay, so that indicates the total number of coil. N indicates the number of active coils. Okay, active coils in the sense the coils which are actually taking part in the deformation. Tau is the shear stress. Tau max is the maximum shear stress, and the theta is the angle of deflection. So this is some of the parameters we'll deal when we study the springs. Okay, sorry. Okay. Next, we'll see the stresses in the helical springs. Basically, there are two types of stresses that the springs are subjected. First one is the direct stress, and second one is the shear stress. So, our aim here to find out the resultant stress, that is the sum of the direct stress plus the shear stress. Okay, so let us start with it. Okay, a round wire helical compression is subjected to the axial force, or it is a direct force. Okay, the effect of axial force is equivalent to torsional stress, that is d by 2, sorry, F into d by 2, and the direct shear stress. So that's what I told you, it is subjected to the torsional shear stress and the direct shear stress, and our aim is to find out the resultant stresses acting on the spring. This is how we are going to proceed now. So this is the shear stress, 16T divided by pi d cube. This is the formula for the shear stress, 16T divided by pi d cube. And this is the formula for the direct shear stress. That is nothing but load, that is F divided by area. Area is pi by 4 into d square. Why? Because the spring is of the circular cross section. Now what is next? Next we have to find out the resultant shear stress, which is nothing but the sum of the direct stress and the shear stress. That is tau T divided by tau D. Okay. Now we will add the both the stresses what we already calculated, correct? This is the torsional shear stress and this is the direct shear stress. Next, we'll take the common 8FD and pi d cube will remain with the 1 plus d divided by 2d. Okay, and we know that what we know, C equal to capital D divided by small d, which is nothing but the spring index. But we are having small d by capital D, so we can write instead of C, we will replace it by 1 by C. Sorry. Okay, so what will remain with 8FD pi d cube remains same, 1 as it is. As I told you, small d by capital D is reciprocal of spring index, so we can write 1 by C, of course 0.5 divided by C. From where this 0.5 comes, that is 1 by 2 is 0.5. Okay, so finally the expression for shear stress is Ks, which is nothing but this I replace the parameter by the Ks, that is shear stress factor into 8FC divided by pi d square. Thank you.